Startup procedure on a Subsea stack BOP. Shut-in drill pipe 600 psi, shut-in casing 745, and kill line pressure is also 745, which means we have consistent fluid inside the kill line as well as the choke line. So the procedure for Subsea stack is to bring the pump up and maintain kill line pressure constant. As we do so, you will see casing pressure starts to decrease by the value of choke line friction. The supervisor will ask the driller to bring the pump up to the kill rate of 30 strokes per minute in this case, and then the supervisor opens up the choke and maintain kill line pressure constant. So 5 strokes per minute. Going to start opening the choke, trying to keep kill line pressure constant around 800 psi, including 50 pounds of overkill in the system. Okay, opening the choke. So choke is open. Eyes on the kill line pressure. 810, 89. Can add 5 more. Open the choke. Five more. And 5 more. So as I'm watching kill line pressure, it's decreasing, then I'm not gonna close the choke. So what I can do is to open the choke, trying to maintain that constant. $25. See, it's decreasing now. I'm not gonna close the choke, so I'm gonna compensate this drop by adding more strokes. So let's see where this gauge goes. 790. It appears it's still going up, so we can go ahead and open up a little bit more and more. So I could say this is pretty much constant. Now you can see that casing pressure dropped from the value of it was 745 to around 500 psi. So now in here we gained 50 pounds, which is the trap pressure in the system. So if I subtract 50 pounds from this dynamic casing pressure, so it gives me 450 psi. So from the initial 750 to 450, that's 300 psi of choke line friction. The other way we can figure it out is looking at the kill line. It's around 800. Casing gauge or dynamic casing pressure is 500. The difference between the two, 300 psi, which means choke line friction is 300 psi. Now we look at drill pipe gauge. And drill pipe is reading 1230 almost. So this is the ICP. We read and believe this value. If we want to know what is SCR through riser, that's going to be 1226 minus the 50 pounds of overkill in the system. So it was 745, this is 803. So that's going to be 58, let's say 58 psi. So that's 1168 or 1170 psi. Roughly that would be the ICP without any overkill in the system. Now, when I subtract the 600 psi from here, that gives me around 570 psi of pressure, and that is for SCR through riser. We're going to keep this pressure in the first step of driller's method.